How to evaluate a vinyl test pressing. Once we got our turntable set up in a line properly, we're going to make sure our disc and our stylus are both clean and free from dust. I've rigged up a really basic capture setup. I've got a super cheap phono preamp, a stereo direct box, a couple of mic preamps, and I'm capturing audio into a digital audio workstation, Pro Tools in my case. We're only listening for obvious defects at this part of the process, so I'm not really worried about the subjective audio quality of the cheap phono pre. While the first side's being transferred in, I'm listening very closely in headphones for any ticks, pops, non-fill, or other defects, and I'm marking any suspected areas in the Pro Tools timeline. Then we flip the record over, give another quick cleaning to the disc surface and the stylus, and repeat the process for the second side. When we're evaluating test pressings, we're not really concerned about small issues that might be on an individual copy. What we're really trying to find are potential defects in the stampers or mother. These are the parts that are actually used to press the records, and a defect there could cause the same error on every copy. This is why the plant will always send you multiple copies of a test pressing. This allows you to cross-check any errors against a different disc. So now that we've marked down all the errors from our first disc, we will load up another one, repeat the cleaning process, and transfer this one in. Once we've transferred the discs in, we will number them so we can keep track of which errors were on which copy. Anything that's not identical on both discs, we're just going to ignore. But if something does seem consistent across both copies, the first thing I'm going to do is pull up a digital version and see if the issue might be present in the source material. If there are any spots that are still a little sus, we'll pull up a third and a fourth test pressing, transfer those in, and see if we can establish a pattern. If there's anything we ultimately decide we can't live with, we'll report the issue back to the pressing plant and they'll investigate on their end. They may end up needing to make new stampers or even order a new lacquer from the cutting engineer. Ideally, these transfers will be the first time we play back these discs. That just ensures that we're not misleading ourselves by introducing wear or accidental damage. But once the transfers are done, we can listen to them for enjoyment, and as long as we approve them, it's pretty much what our final record's going to sound like. Approving test pressings is essentially approving the metal parts that they actually use to squish the vinyl out to make your records. If your production copies end up any different at all from your test pressings, it's probably just going to be down to consistency of temperature with the presses when they're running hundreds or thousands of copies instead of 5 or 10. So if anything, your production copies may end up actually a little bit nicer.